Thank you for tuning in to the Inside the Dam podcast. KMSU is proud to partner with Minot State University Athletics and bring an inside look to student athletes and coaches on campus. Inside the Dam is brought to you by Papa John's. Don't forget to check out their MSU special. You can get a large 2-topping pizza for $7.99 if you show a valid MSU ID. We thank Admir and the Papa John's crew for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Inside the Dam podcast. If you can recall from earlier, we just went live with the B- podcast. And so, busy day here in the MSU broadcasting department for KMSU TV and radio. Just want to remind you guys, Inside the Dam is brought to you by Papa John's, where you can get a large 2-topping pizza for $7.99. That is the MSU special. So if you show a valid MSU ID, you go to Papa John's, you can get yourself that sweet deal there. We thank Admir and the Papa John's crew for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast. I'm your host, Cole Clementich, here for episode 13. Guys, this is going to be the ACHA National Tournament preview show, and we have a great show on deck. A couple of the hockey coaches are here to speak with us, as well as an NSIC champion. So be sure to stay tuned for that later on. But kicking us off here, we are joined by the head women's hockey coach to discuss kind of a recap a little bit of the season and preview what's ahead for the MSU Lady Beavers. Ryan Miner joins us. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Cole. Thanks for having me tonight.
Yes, we are very lucky, as always, to have you and everyone else here on board. So thank you for making the time. So I want to start here. Top 5 consistent ranking for the whole season. You know what? I know rankings don't mean much for going into, like, during the NSIC, or not the NSIC, the ACHA National Tournament. You know, obviously that is a big accomplishment, but, you know, what does that mean for you guys in particular?
Well, I think the big thing is always trying to prove ourselves and our worth, right? We've shown consistently over the last 3-4 years that we are a top team in the ACHA Women's Division I level. At the same time, too, you know, fighting for those spots to qualify for a national tournament. Top 10 teams go, so obviously making sure that we are kind of in that category is always a goal at the start of the year. At the same time, too, just winning games and having success has kind of put us where we're at.
You know, and since then, it's been nothing but, great results, a great output from you guys. It was previewed before the season started that this would be your toughest schedule ever as a club. Finished 21-10-2, pretty darn good finish, proving that you guys can handle the big matchups.
Yeah, obviously, like you just said, one of the toughest schedules we've had so far in my history of coaching this team. I think the big thing is that, there were more losses this season than you'd normally probably see out of our program, but we didn't play anyone outside of the top 14 this year. When we were scheduling over the summer, we had to kind of make that decision of what route we wanted to go, whether we wanted to push ourselves every weekend or, have those games where, it might be a little easier. And, it was a bit hesitant at first because, one weekend we'd be playing the number 1 team and then the following weekend we'd be playing the number 4 team, right? So there was a consistent competitiveness, but I think at the end of the day, it's what has prepared us for this upcoming national tournament.
And you talk about consistent competitiveness. I think that is definitely something that you guys can most certainly use in your back pockets heading into the ACHA National Tournament, when scheduling games like these. I mean, you guys, you weren't afraid of, what was going to be coming your way, and, just kind of expand on, how that has been able to help you guys out more.
Yeah, so again, every team outside of ASU and Miami we've seen this year. So, I mean, with that, we know what to expect going into this tournament. Obviously, we're facing Miami first round, and then we'll go from there. But we know what type of level we're going to see. We know what we need to do in order to compete. And at the same time, too, being a game-by-game basis, we're going to adjust our systems and our game plan based off of who we're playing. So the nice part is, having already played most of these teams, we kind of know, like I said, what to expect and how we're going to move forward with them.
Well, that is all we have for this segment. Coach, thank you so much. And anything else you want to mention real quickly?
No, just obviously we appreciate the support of the school and the community, and obviously we're looking forward to this trip to Boston, and hopefully the plan is to bring home a title, and we can't wait to see if we can do that and have the community watching and supporting us. So thank you.
Go get some Boston cream pie as well.
Oh, for sure.
Yep. Well, you guys definitely have a great squad on hand. Wishing you the best of luck in your guys' quest for a national championship back here to Minot. So, good luck in Boston.
Thank you, Cole.
And there you have it, folks. The first segment done. You just heard head coach Ryan Miner of the women's hockey team previewing the ACHA National Tournament coming up, as mentioned, in Boston, Massachusetts, and also kind of recapping the regular season as well. Before we get going here, folks, moving on, just want to remind you again, Papa John's has an MSU special. You can get a large 2-topping pizza for $7.99 if you show a valid MSU ID. As always, we want to thank Admir and the Papa John's crew for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back after a quick break. Thank you for tuning in to the Inside the Dam podcast. KMSU is proud to partner with Minot State University Athletics and bring an inside look to student athletes and coaches on campus. Inside the Dam is brought to you by Papa John's. Don't forget to check out their MSU special. You can get a large 2-topping pizza for $7.99 if you show a valid MSU ID. We thank Admir and the Papa John's crew for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast. We will be right back with our next guest. We have an NSIC champion to talk to with us from the track and field team. Chase Snyder joins us. Chase, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, Chase. So, it's just to be an NSIC champion, like that's got to be, at a loss for words. It's in the shot put, right? The shot put in for the NSIC, getting into the final rounds and ultimately getting it done. Just talk about that moment when it first happened for you.
Well, when we first were throwing at the thing, I popped a throw of, I think it was 1592 meters, which is 52 feet, I think close to 10 some inches. And I threw that, and my dad was over there helping me out a little bit, and he was saying, that's not going to make it. If you got to throw further than that if you want to actually win the throw. So I kept pushing it, and I got into finals, and I was still in first, and I was like, I got to hit one, because I was using a new technique a little bit called reversing, and it's to help you so when you throw it out the front, your left foot goes back and your right foot goes forward so that you don't scratch the throw because you got your toe board up there, and if you go over top of it, the throw doesn't count. So I was trying not to do that, and I kept going back to some old habits where I kept picking up my back leg, and that just completely ruins your power. You lose all of it when you go out the front. So I was throwing, and I was thinking just these aren't it. As soon as after I hit that first one, I just got too jacked up and too excited. And so then when we were going into the last throws, and so I think it was the Mankato kid. He threw a 1582, which is 10 centimeters behind me. And he threw that, and I was like, wait a minute. I'm right after him. And my coach is over there, Coach Schultz, and he's like, you did it. You won because he was the only person you had, and you won. So I was like, damn. I was like, wow, that's impressive. So then I just threw it out there, and I felt it as soon as I hit the throw. Like, that's not it. But I was like, I won. I wanted to try to get one last good throw, hopefully break that 16, 18. Hopefully, I wanted to try to break the all-time school record instead of just having the current Division II one. But so, yeah, I was still not entirely real, just kind of.
Yeah, show off the medal, by the way. That unfortunately, this is the camera's right here, but unfortunately, this is the furthest I can zoom in. But yeah, if you just kind of want to show it up closer to the camera. Oh,
hand it over to them.
Yeah, we'll show it a little bit here, guys. Oh, there we go. So yeah, the NSIC champion, first place in the shot put. Dude, that is so awesome. Hey, show it off, man. Yeah, wear it with pride. So Yeah, there's just a little bit of the hardware that he has on hand with us tonight, but yeah, that's always got to be a good feeling, once you win something or you clinch something, and it's just really talk more about the feeling. Like how amazing was that moment?
It was, like I said, it still doesn't even feel entirely real. Just like I see it, but I haven't like let it fully sink in.
Yep.
Like my indoor goal, my starter goal, I finished that. I just did it, and I was like, I just checked it off my little like box thing in my planner that says, "What are your goals for the year?" And that was one of them. So, yeah, I'd say it feels what's the word? It feels good just to be able to know that all the stuff you worked for, the stuff I strived for, the stuff I suffered for, I dealt with a lot of hardships in the first year and then partially through this year, but I just kept pushing through it and I got here. I did my goal and I proved all the haters wrong, basically.
And you're doing this as a sophomore, and you mentioned like all the records being like the D2 records being broken, and quite frankly, that's what really stands out to me is a lot of these records just keep going down and down and down, or yeah, I guess new records being made, being broken, sort of that. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, just talk about as a whole, as a group, like even not just the shot put, but all the runners, the javelin throwers, and the pole vaulters. Like, talk about the mentality of this group. How do they put it all together, and how do they really perform at that high of a level?
Well, it's basically just a drive. You got to have it. If you don't want it enough, you're not going to get it. You got to be able to push through the pain. Then there's plenty of days where you got to get up at. I know the distance guys. They're always in there nowadays at like 6 a.m. in the morning, and I remember what that was like last year, and I hated it. And so I imagine running, several miles, they probably hate it too. And yeah, it's just that you just gotta keep it going. If you don't, you're not going to be able to get your goals, basically.
Man, it's just looking at that medal. Thank you for letting us share that with the audience, by the way, the medal, the first place medal. But yeah, going into the meet, what were you kind of like for the NSIC championship meet? Like, what kind of expectations did you feel you thought were fair for yourself, or like just kind of what was going through your head going into that event?
Well, for myself personally, it was I wanted to win. I knew I could if I put myself to it, if I just did what I knew I could do. And yeah, that's kind of it. Just going in with the feeling that even though maybe on the day I didn't feel the best, or I got myself psyched out. I'm like, oh, I don't belong here because there's all these seniors and juniors that are throwing. And no, just thinking to myself, you know what? You earned it. You got here. You're coming in third best. If you can't, you guess you got to throw your best, and you're going to do your best.
We're almost pretty much out of time here, but anything else you'd like to mention before we send it off here?
Just that when it comes outdoor, I'm hoping shot put is not the only one again. I'm hoping I throw discus too. So
Discus as well.
I'm hoping to get another. I'm hoping to qualify for nationals with that one because that's my preferred event. But yeah, I'm hoping to make it by the end of the year 3 conference champions.
Hey, and keep showing that medal off, baby. I love it, man. Yeah, but yeah, that's gonna do it for us here, folks. Chase, thank you for making some time today and being on the Inside the Dam podcast.
Thank you for having me on, Cole.
Yes, like I said, folks, that is gonna do it for us. Again, you just heard Chase Snyder after becoming NSIC champion in the shot put for the track and field squad. And that is going to do it overall here for episode 13. We want to wish a congrats to the Central Cass Squirrels on winning the State B Girls Basketball Championship this past weekend. Of course, MSU hosting all of the basketball tournaments going on currently, even with the Region 6 Boys Basketball Tournament going on as we speak. Before we end it off here, folks, want to remind you Papa John's is the sponsor of Inside the Dam. They have an MSU special. You can get a large 2-topping pizza for $7.99 if you show a valid MSU ID. As always, we want to thank Admir and Papa John's for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast. That's it for me. Hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Take care as always. We won't have a show next week due to spring break, so be sure to stay tuned on all forms of social media. Be sure to follow KMSU TV and radio on all the major platforms. That's going to do it, and hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Thank you for tuning in to the Inside the Dam podcast. KMSU is proud to partner with Minot State University Athletics and bring an inside look to student athletes and coaches on campus. Inside the Dam is brought to you by Papa John's. Don't forget to check out their MSU special. You can get a large 2-topping pizza for $7.99 if you show a valid MSU ID. We thank Admir and the Papa John's crew for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast.